What's up, girlfriend? Something's going on. You got a look about you. Tell me what's wrong.
Do you think that's Lady Yae? Oh, no wonder Junior is so excited. She has a really striking presence. Also, is it just Paimon? Or did she look right at us just now? It was probably nothing. It's not like she's ever seen us before.
Keep away. Keep away from me. I gave up the art of the sword. Please, let me go, I beg you.
As you can see, Lady Yae, Domon has persisted in this state for some time now. He appears to see those who have lost to him in duels past, gathered all around him to persecute him.
Lady Yae, it must be a possession, right? This is nothing like him at all. In the past, no matter what came his way, he would always face it with a confident smile.
I'm sorry. It is clear to me that your sensei is not possessed by any evil spirit.
But then does that mean he...
Yes. This is a change in the person himself. Unable to cope with the tremendous pressure he was under, he suffered a spiritual collapse. With his wits impaired, he finally descended into madness. As one who is thrown into the sea, though he fights back desperately against his predicament, it does nothing to prevent his descent into the depths. As for what has triggered this change, I believe it must be the loss of his vision. For to be stripped of one's vision is to be stripped of one's ambition.
Stripped of his ambition? But Lady Yae, even without his ambition, why should he suffer such a dramatic change? How does that explain his descent into madness?
Your school practices Meikyo Shisui art, does it not? Stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. What a fine notion that would be if any in this world could ever hope to achieve it. There was once one who claimed to be indifferent to rank and reward, and who fled enraged when defeated by his junior. And then there was an aged swordmaster who was aggrieved enough that he crossed blades with a disciple he himself had taught. Then, what of the one who crossed blades with his own sensei and beloved fellow disciple, and defeated them both? Can one truly remain unagitated, of still mind in moments such as these?
Lady Yae, I'm not sure I understand.
The path of the Swordmaster is filled with twists and turns. It is no small undertaking to pursue the position of greatest Swordmaster in the world. It requires one to take their sword firmly in both hands and cut down the hopes and dreams of others, even those of one's closest companions. Only a deep commitment to his ambition to become the best made it possible for him to rise above the pain of these encounters, to focus on the way ahead. When that ambition disappeared, he began to doubt himself. As he battled his growing anxiety, he slowly descended into the state you see him in now. Much like a certain fatally flawed friend of mine.
Poor sensei. To think he's been suffering so greatly.
I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Father, Sensei, Onsai.
That's enough.
Huh? Isn't that Onsai? Where did he come from? Did he follow us the whole way here?
Onsai, why are there two of you? Is that you or a ghost? You're here for revenge, aren't you? I knew it would come. I never should have.
You're right to assume that my feelings towards you are far from kindly. But I didn't come here to settle a score. It's been so long now that I made peace with it years ago. You did nothing wrong that day. I couldn't face the humiliation. That's why I ran. I don't think most of the people you beat along the way would hold it against you. On the contrary, when you cut our ambitions short, we entrusted them to you, in the hopes that they might carry you further. Now I know that we can't place our hopes in you any longer, since you've been stripped of your ambitions too. But that is no reason to strip them of theirs. Follow the way of the sword all the way to the highest peak. You taught them that, didn't you?
But what if one day, the same thing happens to them? I put everything I had into trying to become the best. But what if it was all a huge mistake right from the start? If there's a chance they'll end up like me one day, I'd rather they stay where they are now than go any further down this path.
Have you asked them what they think?
Sensei, after you rescued me from the hands of the pirates, I told myself I would follow in your footsteps for the rest of my days. I can't know whether I will suffer in my future as you do now. All I know is that here and now, in the present, I wish to continue. I want to keep going until the day that I can stand before everyone with my head held high and announce that I, like my sensei Domon before me, am a master of Meikyo Shisui art.
Nanako's far from the only one. Actually, all of us think that way.
Goodness. Well,
You see? You can place the ambition you once had in their hands. Being stripped of your ambition is something that's never happened to me, so I can't claim to understand it. But I do know what it feels like to have your ambitions crushed. That's what happened on the day that you so effortlessly defeated me. So, just as I once placed my ambitions onto you, it is time for you to release yours into their custody. You are not in the same position that I was. When I left, I had nothing to my name. But you have a great number of worthy disciples.
I understand. I'm sorry to have made you worry for me, and for the state of Meikyo Shisui art. I no longer have the resolve to become the best in the world. The emptiness and suffering inside of me will not abate, so I cannot hope to still my mind and be free of agitation. But as your sensei, I shall commit to imparting unto you everything I have learned in my life so far. This is my promise. And I humbly ask Anzai, my senior, to hold me to my word.
You can count on that. I'd be checking in on you occasionally anyway, just to make sure you hadn't lost your mind again. But I am now used to the life of a wanderer. I do not belong in the dojo anymore, so I will simply stop by once in a while to make sure you aren't cutting any corners with them. Well, don't just stand there staring at me. Say thank you to Lady Yae and then get yourself back home.
So even though his ambition was taken away, his disciples can take it over on his behalf. Guess that sort of solves this one, huh?
Traveler, a moment, please. Lady Yae has some words for you.
So, my intuition was correct. The wind that blows from afar carries fresh life to these shores. For us to meet now is premature. Nevertheless, you set foot on these islands at precisely the right moment. I have high hopes for you, child. Don't disappoint me.
Ooh, Lady Yae seems to have taken a real interest in you. She seems super mysterious. Paimon's so curious what she really meant by all that. We can come back to it another time. For now, we should go report back to Miss Kamisato.
You actually managed to find this place. Congratulations.
So, you're another Fatui Harbinger? Like Senora and Child?
Senora and Child. I didn't know you and my two least reliable colleagues were acquainted. I'm the Balladeer. Number 6 of the Fatui Harbingers. Delighted to meet you, oh mighty traveler. So many visitors today. To what do I owe the honor? Oh, so that's what this is about. I think you've got the wrong idea. I know how this looks, but I'm just here to follow orders. I'm obviously not the mastermind behind this. Aren't you supposed to be pretty tough? What are you waiting for? Go get them. You're getting all worked up over nothing. Didn't have you down as being so weak.
How can
How can you call it anything more? It's the way of the world. Human life is worthless. They were always going to die, with or without a delusion. At least having one gives them a chance to fulfill their ambitions. Do you have any idea how useful the Vision Hunt decree is to us? It took a lot of work to make it happen. Obviously, it was in our best interests. Good news is, our hard work is finally paying off. Generating conflict creates a big market for delusions. Now we just let the promise of power draw in the weak. For just a small price, they get the feeling of controlling the world, trading their life for supreme power. Pretty good deal, don't you think?
So, the Fatui started the Vision Hunt decree? You've been behind it all along?
From the outside, Inazuma looks pretty impenetrable. But on the inside, it's a land of opportunity. With a little effort, we were able to break them down from within. Eternity stretches things out over a long time, but each moment within it becomes all the more fragile. Take your friend in the Resistance, for example. There's nothing you can do now. He's a lost cause, just like a bubble on the water. Beautiful for a moment, then total destruction. The more it takes from them, the more tightly they hold on to it. And the more incompetent they are, the more determined they are to fight it. It's such a farce. You have to see the funny side.
Hey, calm down! No!
That's it. Just like that. Embrace the anger. Embrace it! The wrath of the gods fills his factory, and it feeds on your anger.
What's happening? Get up!
Repeat after me. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Come on. Okay, that's positive. Your brain seems relatively unscathed. This is good news. It's just as well, really, with the amount of effort it took me to get you back here. Honestly, it was like you were glued to the ground back there.
Nico? Paimon's been wanting to ask you about something. How come you're acting so differently from when we first met you?
Am I? Maybe it's because I had the other Shrine Maidens leave. Anyway, I've always been like this. People show you whatever side of themselves they want you to see. I know this for a fact. Every side of me is the real me. People just like to define things in all sorts of arbitrary ways. This is a human society. At the moment, anyway. And I'm just doing as I please.
Paimon didn't quite follow.
Study humans a while longer, my little friend. You'll see what I mean.
Right! Paimon was so focused on the Travler that Paimon didn't notice what you did to get Scaramouche off our backs.
What if I told you it was a secret art from the Grand Narukami Shrine, and that I had the balladeer down on his knees, begging for mercy in an instant? Would you believe me? Well, maybe you should be worrying less about that, and more about how exactly you're going to thank me, no? Maybe some of your neural circuitry is less intact than I thought. I didn't mean you had to be so formal about it. I need your actions, not your words. The delusions. They're still on your mind, aren't they? You needn't worry. The leader of Watatsumi Island took some troops to clear the place out. She's also issued a strict ban on the use of delusions across the whole army. With their stronghold exposed, I doubt the balladeer is stubborn enough to try and retaliate now on his colleagues' behalf. it would be more trouble than it's worth. I must say, I would relish the opportunity to watch the Fatui getting a taste of their own medicine. Well, anyway, that Songonamiya Kokomi, she really outdid herself this time. I'd love to have another chat with her again in person. But alas, belief systems can be such a hindrance sometimes.
A hindrance? Should you really be saying that as the Gucci of the Grand Shrine?
Anyway, I'm only telling you this to stop you worrying so that you can focus on something I need you to do for me. You've met her, right? I'm not talking about the puppet. I mean her. You've met her, yes? Yes, the true Raiden Shogun, who meditates endlessly in the plane of Euthymia to preserve her being. Her name is Yae.
Are you saying that the one we met at the ceremony was just a puppet? And the real Raiden Shogun is the one that the Traveler met later? And does that mean that when the battlefield changed, so did the opponent?
Because this is the Raiden Shogun's eternity. Before pursuing the eternity of her nation, she had to reach eternity for herself. Since the physical body will eventually turn to dust, she replaced hers with that of a puppet. And since the spirit is susceptible to erosion, she placed her consciousness inside her sword, where she remains in a meditative state, free from all disturbances.
So, that place that she carved open with her sword...
The plane of Euthymia. Essentially, the world inside her mind. A place that typically only allows her existence. She shuts herself off in her inner world, leaving all the affairs of the outside world to be dealt with by a puppet, who has a singular focus on the pursuit of eternity. This is the approach Yae has come up with for realizing eternity. You mean Morax? It's been a while since I last saw him. A surprising decision by Liyue as Archon. What a fascinating god he is.
It seems like the Raiden Shogun's approach solves the problem Zhang Li was facing, though.
Perhaps. Or you could take the view that she's acting like a little child, throwing a temper tantrum and locking herself in her room. Don't you think? The grand notion of eternity she once held has long since given way to the eternity of her own definition. And ultimately, her eternity is defined by fear. The fear of loss. The truth is, we are on the same side. You want to save the people of Inazuma from the Vision Hunt decree. So do I. The only difference is that I'd rather like to save this nation and save Yae while we're at it. The key is that the plane of Euthymia represents Yae's inner world. Defeat her there, and you may well have the chance to shake the Raiden Shogun's will.
So this is your plan? To abolish the Vision Hunt decree? Not by talking her out of it, or through an armed resistance, but by, hopping inside the Raiden Shogun's inner world?
You're a fast learner. In short, this is the last chance to get Inazuma back on track. Otherwise, an eternity of darkness awaits. Don't you realize how special you are? Remember, the plane of Euthymia is a space where only she is allowed to exist. The fact that you could appear there tells us one crucial thing, that you have piqued her interest. Perhaps it's because she has never seen an individual who is so unpredictable in the face of eternity.
Has no one else ever been in there?
None. No one has seen the devotee of eternity since she shut herself away. In fact, no one even knows what it looks like in there. Your existence is more than just an opportunity. It's the very key to all of this. To that I say, well done, child. You did not disappoint me after all.
Wait, you're leaving? Where are you going?
Anti-Raiden Shogun training. I've prepared a special program just for you.
We're gonna do it here? And what's this mechanism for?
Think of it as a catalyst that can reproduce the Raiden Shogun's combat moves. I made it from my own memory, which means it should be perfectly accurate. Unless, of course, her skills have declined. It'll give you a chance to figure out her moves in advance and come up with a counter strategy. That should be a big help, don't you think? The aim is to try to not get hit by the attacks. Since you've escaped certain death at her hand once already, I presume this shouldn't be more than you can handle.
What a workout! So how come you know so much about the Raiden Shogun?
You mean me? Perhaps it's because I'm the Electro Archons familiar.
What? Like Dvalin is to Barbados? Huh. Never would have guessed by looking at you.
It sounds like you'd be more persuaded if you saw me in my fox form. In your dreams.
Huh.
More curious than my appearance is the fact that she and I don't see each other anymore, wouldn't you say? A nation to last for all eternity is a dream that she and I both share. But I don't think that's the same thing as complete stasis. At some point, she started going down a path that became increasingly difficult for me to join her on. You know, Yae never said goodbye to me before she stepped into the plane of Euthymia. Perhaps it's just my wishful thinking, but I think she did this deliberately, as her way of keeping our friendship eternal. By neither saying goodbye nor seeing me again, our relationship will remain forever how it was. In her mind, at least. Since we've embarked on two very different paths to eternity, I can either continue to maintain the status quo or do whatever it takes to bring her back on track, regardless of the cost. I have chosen the latter because if stubbornly isolating herself in the plane of Euthymia is her idea of eternity, then my duty as her eternal familiar is to drag her back out of her own head and into the real world.
Aw, Miko, you sound like a really great friend.
I'm only telling you this so you can properly understand my plan. Could you possibly spare the sentimentality for the time being? Anyway, that's enough chit-chat. Time for Anti-Raiden Shogun Training Phase 2.
There's a part 2? Whew. We're finally done. How did we do?
You did quite admirably. I could see your determination and your hard work.
So, do you think we're ready to beat the Raiden Shogun now?
How do I put this? You're no match for her at all.
Wait, what? So all of this was a complete waste of time?
You are the most important part of the plan. I know what I'm doing. You don't think I'd leave you with no chance to win at all, do you? Speaking of, Traveler, what do you think of the Resistance Army's chances? You're absolutely right. Perhaps they occasionally best the Shogun's army in open battle. But when they face the Raiden Shogun herself, considering even their visions have been taken from them and embedded in the statue, they're ultimately quite helpless.
You don't have to be so blunt. The Traveler's the captain of Swordfish too, you know.
I don't mean to belittle them. On the contrary, it is precisely because of their helplessness, because their visions have been taken from them, that their will is all the more precious. In short, if everything goes according to plan, they may yet prove to be helpful. Oh, goodness, is that the time? I have another guest to receive today. We can talk more back at the Grand Narukami Shrine.
All of this sudden, you're entertaining guests? Hyman's really struggling to understand how you work.
Okay, we can talk here. You asked me about the plan. In fact, I've been mulling it over for quite a long time. Before one makes a plan, what is the most important thing one must do?
Don't know. What is it?
You must understand the situation you are facing. The Vision Hunt Decree was obviously devised as a means of manipulating the Shogun. The ones behind it knowing full well her susceptibility as a puppet, with a single-minded focus on eternity. Yes, This is the strongest piece of evidence we have to go on. Now, we also know that every aspect of the Vision Hunt Decree's promulgation and execution has been enthusiastically spearheaded by the Tenryou Commission from the outset.
Ayaka was saying that every time they submitted a petition against the Vision Hunt Decree, the Tenryou and Kanjo commissions would veto it straight away with no negotiation.
Yes, it's all too clear that both the Tenryou and Kanjo commissions are in some form of collusion with the Fatui. Foolish humans, blinded by their greed. Thus, the current situation is that our Fatui antagonist is still at large, has the two rogue commissions wrapped around their finger, and is distributing delusions from the shadows. Unfortunately, given that said antagonist is under the protection of two commissions and the Raiden Shogun, we would be rather hard-pressed to track them down.
So, what should we do?
It will be easier for us to start with someone from Inazuma. So my plan is to incite rebellion in the Tenryou Commission.
Rebellion? What are you talking about? After everything you just said, it sounds like the Tenryou Commission has rebelled already.
When I say rebellion, I don't mean betraying the shogunate. I mean inciting a certain someone to betray the Tenryou Commission. If we manage to convince her, I'm quite sure we'll be able to get you another audience with the Raiden Shogun. I'll give you a clue. She's currently in charge of the Shogun's army. She visits the shrine at this time every month, and she is our guest today. She also appears to be standing right behind you.
Don't move a muscle. You've got some nerve showing up here in the shrine when there's an active warrant for your arrest. Don't even think about trying anything. Surrender now. You're coming with me to headquarters. Seize him!
Affirmative.
Kujusara!
It seems that you're forgetting. This is the Grand Narukami Shrine. Use of force here is strictly forbidden. Before you proceed, which of you would like to face criminal charges for dishonoring the Shogun,
Ugh. Guji Yae, please tell me you are not sheltering a wanted criminal here.
We are just friends. I don't see what sheltering has to do with it. Tell your subordinates to leave. We have things to discuss.
All of you outside.
As you wish.
Guji Yae, I'm a little curious. Does it not also dishonor the Shogun to hide a wanted criminal at her grand shrine?
You're the same as ever, Kujo-Sara. No one can match you when it comes to loyalty to the Shogun.
As a servant, loyalty to the Shogun is my duty. And as a warrior, I dedicate my life to following the way of the Shogun.
Even though she will one day seize your vision too?
The Vision Hunt Decree is the Shogun's chosen course, and I shall not question it.
It's tragic. Such wholehearted devotion rendered meaningless by circumstance. Have you been kept in the dark? Or are you the only one left in the light?
Lady Guji, I need you to be direct. Tell me exactly what you mean.
The Vision Hunt Decree is a trap. Part of a Fatui plot to bring Inazuma to its knees. And your masters, the Kujo clan of the Tenryou Commission, they're the ones keeping the truth from reaching the Shogun.
You're saying the Kujo clan betrayed the Shogunate?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Guji Yae, your allegation is not only dangerous, but ridiculous. The Tri-Commission has served the Shogun since ancient times, and remains absolutely loyal to this day. Ever since I was adopted by the Kujo clan, I have seen and heard nothing but pure devotion toward the Shogun. At every level of the Tenryou Commission, especially from the head of the clan, Kujo Takayuki. He reveres the Muso no Hitotachi more than anyone. My own respect for the Shogun pales in comparison to his. How could he ever even dream of acting against the Shogun?
3 days. Come back here in 3 days and I will show you the evidence. As a Guji, there's one thing I know very well. People believe whatever they want to believe. Some things you do not see, simply because you do not wish to look. And so, It falls to me to place the truth before your eyes, in all its ugliness.
3 days? I'll be here. But if I don't see any evidence, I will demand a formal apology for slandering the Kujo clan. Also, he will have to come with me.
Wonderful. Then I'll see you in 3 days. I look forward to it very much.
That was so scary! Paimon wasn't expecting to run into Kujosara here. But, Miko, you mentioned evidence of the Tenryou Commission's betrayal. Is that all in hand and good to go, or...?
Why are you always asking so many questions? Of course not. I just had to say something because I clearly wasn't convincing her.
Not entirely unexpected.
As plans go, changing the deity's mind is a huge gamble to begin with. We can't expect to be in control of every last detail when we're facing off against a god, can we?
Okay, but what are we gonna do, though? We only have 3 days.
If we want to get our evidence, we're going to need some help. Now, come with me. We must awaken the professional.
That toy Tanuki just turned into a human! What's going on? Paimon's never seen one of these before. Not a Tanuki. I'm a Muchina. I'm so tired. If I don't get enough sleep, it'll stunt my growth. Is this the professional you were talking about? She doesn't look very professional at all.
She is a member of the Shiumatsuban, a genuine, bona fide ninja.
Oh, wow! A ninja? So was that one of those legendary ninja transformation techniques? Anyway, what's the Shumatsuban?
It belongs to the Yashiro Commission, a secret unit under Kamisato Ayato. Now, Kamisato Ayato and the Yashiro Commission are neutral parties, so I have no right to give orders to the Shiumatsuban. However, convincing their most chronically lazy member to help us is well within my abilities. Here's what I need you to do. Go into town and find evidence of the Tenryou Commission's betrayal. It would not be appropriate for me to be seen there myself.
You make it sound so simple, but...
Oh, I thought you would have figured it out by now. All right then. I'll indulge you with a little more information. For a complete outsider, probing the inner workings of the Tenryou Commission is nigh on impossible. But since the 3 commissions work together to serve the Shogun, they have a close relationship. Someone from one of the other commissions might have an easier job of figuring out what they're up to. Now you're following me. The Shogun's army haven't given up on their search for you yet, but with the help of this Shiumatsuban ninja, I'm sure you'll be able to rendezvous with your friends. Don't forget, we're on a tight schedule here. Be sure to bring back the evidence in good time.
Euthymia! We need an extra-large firework. The super-duper big kind.
Extra-large firework? You sure came to the right person. As it happens, I made this really souped-up one just a couple days ago. But it's so powerful that I haven't found anywhere I can test it out yet. May as well give it to you. Let me know how it turns out. Don't forget, move well away from it after you light the fuse, and try to avoid burning your clothes. Also, it's best that you cover your ears.
Why does Paimon feel so nervous all of a sudden?
Don't worry, it's just a firework, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
We'll give it a try. Thanks, Euthymia.
Lady Guji, here I am, as promised. Rest assured I came here alone and told no one about this trip.
I knew you would keep your promise after all. I'm sure you've barely been able to take your mind off it these past few days. Have you managed to get any sleep at all?
You're quite mistaken. I would never doubt the leaders of my clan. So, where is your proof?
Ah, how wonderful. Everyone's keeping their promises today.
Oh, you wouldn't believe what we had to go through to get our hands on this stuff.
Hand them to Sarah. She can examine them for herself.
What is this? I see this document bears the official seal of the head of the Kujo clan, and it doesn't look like a forgery. I don't understand. Not a single word about the resistance, Sangonomiya, or the situation on the front line. What about the soldiers who gave their lives on the front line, or the hardship endured by the people? Do they deserve no mention? Utter disregard for human life. Why would they want to hide it?
For the sake of the Vision Hunt decree, of course. Don't you think the Shogun might reconsider her policy if all of the things you just mentioned appeared in this report?
So, the Tenryou Commission, they are deliberately deceiving the Shogun?
Yes. Now, who else do you think might be benefiting from the Vision Hunt decree?
This is a letter from the Tenryou Commission to the Fatui. The head of the Kujo clan kept this a secret from the Shogun, too.
Well, the things you wanted to see but also wished not to see are here before you. Surely, you aren't planning to turn a blind eye to them?
So everything I've ever held on to, it's all... How could they? Ugh! This betrayal is unforgivable! Takayuki, you've got some explaining to do!
Kujo-Sara seems pretty angry, huh? Looks like our Tenryou rebellion is successfully underway. Yep. Let's catch up with her.
Hold on, Traveler. There's something else we need to discuss.
Huh?
Last time you entered the plane of Euthymia, it was in front of the statue of the omnipresent god, correct? You must find a way to recreate the circumstances of that day. If you can get the Raiden Shogun to open her heart to you once more before the statue of the omnipresent god, you will have the opportunity you need. Take this with you as a farewell gift.
What is it?
The omamori from the Grand Narukami Shrine are very potent indeed. I thought I'd put one aside for you. If you find yourself at your wit's end, take it out and see what happens. Maybe your prayers will be answered and all your problems will disappear in the blink of an eye. Or if you ever think about me during your journey, take it out, won't you? Who knows? Maybe I'll just end up appearing right in front of you.
Cut it out, Fox Lady. This isn't the time or place to be poking fun at the Traveler.
I'm sorry. Well then, time for you to face my hopeless fool of a friend. I'm counting on you.
The way people charge in here as they please. So uncivilized. If I didn't know this was Tenshukaku, I might have mistaken it for some kind of street market. Have you learned your lesson now?
Oh no! What has she done to Kujo-Sara?
The right to punish Inazumans for their crimes is mine alone. Not yours, Signora.
Then I apologize, Almighty Shogun. I know, you can't get me out of your mind. But you really don't need to call my name all the time. Don't go thinking I'm surprised to see you here. I'm well aware that you hate me, with the way you follow me around like a dark shadow. Ah, so you came to expose my crimes in front of the Shogun? I'm just a Snezhnayan diplomat. I'm afraid I have no idea what you're talking about.
She doesn't take us seriously at all.
Stop talking about people and things that I care nothing about. They were nobodies to begin with, and their names will be forgotten. But now, at least, they get to be building blocks in the grand revolution to realize eternity. Is that not the greatest honor they could hope for in their tiny little lives? Almighty Shogun, do correct me if I'm wrong. That's ancient history. You certainly love to hold a grudge. The Tsaritsa's dream is the noblest and purest thing in all the world. These other mundane details you insist on mentioning? They're just necessary sacrifices. That's all. You stop me? For what it's worth, I've grown tired of seeing you around as well. But I didn't have you down as someone quite so foolhardy. Before you go saying something you can't take back, remember that you're Inazuma's most wanted criminal. I suggest you consider your circumstances very carefully. Charging into Tenshukaku uninvited and lecturing me in front of the Shogun wasn't the brightest move. Don't you think it's time you stopped digging? I'm not sure you realize quite how much distance there is between us, both in status and in strength.
I challenge you to a duel before the throne!
Proceed.
My, you're full of surprises today. So you've learned to make the law of the land work for you too, I'll admit that I never expected to be in a situation where the two of us were on equal footing. You are aware that the loser must die. Are you sure this is what you want?
Traveler!
Then I will deign to share this last dance with you. Till death do us part! So strong, but how? I am a Snizhnayan diplomat. You know what happens if you lay a finger on me. I swear, if you strike me, I will make sure... The Fatui will make sure that your precious Inazuma... Stop! I order you! And you! Filthy rats! All of you!
You are the enemy of eternity. But as the victor, I acknowledge your honor. Therefore, I shall allow you to leave Tenshukaku alive.
I'm so wrong to wish that they would.